Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma is proud to present The Shasteen Show, live from Daddy Billy's. The Shasteen Show is brought to you in part by Southern Community Bank, the Rogers Insurance Group, and Mission Collision in Winchester. Now, here are your hosts, Scott Shasteen and Ken Keller.
Well, Zaxby's is out. London's is in. Welcome to downtown Tullahoma, another edition of the Shasteen Show here in the middle of June. We are live at London's, the corner of Lincoln Street and the alley. Our on-site producers, directors, camera operators are Dave Stripling and Daniel Scroggins. Our studio engineer is Caleb King. He's Ken Keller. I'm Scott Shasteen, and it is great to have you here on the Shasteen Show. A lot to talk about today. I mean, a lot. NBA finals are over. NHL finals are over. College baseball is about to go to the World Series. And we've got a lot of college football to talk about.
Omaha. Wasn't that Peyton Manning's favorite cadence with the Denver Broncos?
It was.
Omaha.
I think he was changing the play.
Yeah, man. He wasn't talking about the World Series, College World Series in baseball, was he?
He might have been. That might have been the new play. Yeah. Bunt.
That's it.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. You know what? Family's kind of disappointed. Got some disturbing news this weekend, about IHOP. My wife's favorite place, International House of Pancakes, is changing their name to IHOB, I-H-O-B, International House of Burgers. Come on, man. If you want the right burger, come right on down here to London's in downtown Tullahoma. Voted Tullahoma's finest 5 years. This is the place to get the burger.
This is the Tullahoma House of Burgers right here, T-Hop.
T-Hop.
That's it. That's what got to be one of the craziest business things I've ever seen, Ken. How many places are there with pancakes in their name? Not many, right?
Not many, no, sir.
How many places are there with burgers?
Bunches. Who did the market research on that? They need to be looking for other employment.
If they had spent less time promoting pancakes with Lord knows what on them. Yeah. Some of these, and spent more time promoting just regular pancakes with delicious maple syrup, they would have been a whole lot better off, and probably still would have been IHOP instead of IHOB. But what do you give them, about 5 years is IHOB, they're done?
I don't think that long. I don't think that long.
All right,
but there is a new Halloween movie coming out that I'm excited about this fall.
What number is it?
John Carpenter. I don't know. I've got an expert in the audience tonight that can answer that question. But that trailer, man, it looked pretty cool. Old Michael Myers, that guy goes to the prison grounds into that open area, and I said, Michael. He pulls that mask out and he starts just jumping up and down in those chains. I'm excited about seeing that movie. That trailer looks pretty scary.
Michael's cutting loose.
I'm telling you.
Halloween 18.
Yeah.
Should be good. Where do we start today? I tell you what, let's start local. All right, we've got a new list today that we're gonna do. We're gonna do our favorite all-time University of Alabama and University of Tennessee football players by position during the show. So Ken has put together his list for Alabama. I've put together my list for the Big Orange, and we will do that probably beginning in the second segment. I want to start local, though, because we've got a young lady who has been coach of the Moore County Raiderettes for the last couple of years, Amy Josephson, and want to congratulate Amy on accepting the women's basketball head coaching position at Riverdale High School in Murfreesboro. Yes, Riverdale, defending state champion. I think they've won 3 state championships in a row. They were at one time ranked the #1 girls high school team in the nation. Amy Josephson moves from Moore County to Riverdale, Ken. That's a big jump. That's like moving from coaching Motlow football to Alabama football. That's big.
I agree with you. You're going single A to the highest level of basketball there is. But, look at the fertile, from what she's going to have in that area of coming out for tryouts and can build, continue to keep that program one of the top programs in the state. And, look, if you can coach at any level. The talent changes. That girls team that she had, we saw them a couple times, with the Duck covering, Tullahoma versus Moore County Lady Raiderettes, and she kept that team from the 8th grade all the way up, and by the time they were seniors, they were great basketball players. And I think one of the girls, did she not sign with Motlow?
Actually, two Moore County Raiderettes signed with Motlow, Taylor Holcomb and Katie Thomas.
Well, there you go.
And they went to the state tournament. Amy did a great job with that team. So, it should be interesting. But you get in that Region 7 AAA, District 7 AAA, and man, that's big time girls basketball right there. So congratulations, Amy, and good luck to Amy. Also, Tullahoma's David Hess with another quality start this week for the Baltimore Orioles. Ken, I think that's 4 out of 5 quality starts. Went into the 6th inning, gave up 1 run. The Orioles lost like 4-3. In the bottom of the 9th or something, but David's getting it done.
Oh, no doubt. And the thing about David, we've talked about it on this show, Scott, is he pitches to contact. He throws strikes, and when you're that competitive on the mound and had 4 pitches, which he can mix his pitches up and throw all of them for strikes, just rely on your defense, man, and that keeps your teammates in the game, and it gives your team a chance to win. They just need to hit the ball better when David pitches.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to rely on the Baltimore Orioles defense or hitting to get it done, but great job for David. All right, let's play a little trivia, Ken, as I open up this hermetically sealed envelope. Let's talk about this trivia game that we play every week. Show the folks at home who can see it beginning Wednesday when they watch the replay of this program on LightTube Channel 23. But also you want to describe in detail for our radio listeners what we're giving away today.
Yeah, as always, Tullahoma Awards and Gifts located at Northgate Mall, Suite 239. They have donated these prizes as they do weekly for us here on the Shasteen Show. We have 3 great prizes, all orange and white. It's all about the Vols tonight. We're going to give our favorite Tennessee Vols, Scott is. I'm going to give my favorite Alabama Crimson Tide players. But these prizes are Tennessee related because I realize our audience is swayed heavily toward the Big Orange. So we have this beautiful license plate right here with the Tennessee Power Tea on it. Will be one of the gifts. We have a little hugger here for your favorite beverage. It has tea on one side, the Tennessee Power Tea, and Smoky on the other side. And then you have this little sport towel, this white towel with the Tennessee Orange Power Tea on it. So you win this prize, these 3 prizes tonight by answering this question. It's not real difficult, but it's going to really set the tone for our show tonight, talking about our all-time favorites from our favorite teams by position.
I think this question could be a little tricky. A little bit tricky. 931-393-3500, 931-393-3100. Either one of those will get you in. 3500, 3100. Call with your answer. Known as the Minister of Defense, Reginald Howard White, number 92, is no doubt one of the all-time Tennessee Vol greats and a fan favorite. The talented Chattanooga Howard product was an All-American in football and earned all-state honors in basketball while in high school. What football team did Reggie White begin his professional career with? What football team did Reggie White begin his professional career with? 939-393-3500, 393-3100. Smash thinks it's so easy.
Yeah.
He's got it all figured out.
He does.
But, we like to throw Smash a little bit. We're going to throw him a little bit tonight. 931-393-3500.
Speaking of curveballs, what about the College World Series? That Vanderbilt Mississippi State series, Scott, unbelievable. All 3 games, you have basically walk-offs the first 2 games of that series. Then Vanderbilt loses 10-6 last night. And, Tim Corbin said today, said in his press conference that some of these guys were going to play professional baseball, and the only thing that they're going to get comparable to this if they go to the pros and play in the World Series, the World Series of Major League Baseball. That what a spectacle this Omaha College World Series is. I love the format. You start out with 64 teams. You have regionals. 16 teams host, 4 teams in their bracket. Then those winners advance to the regionals is what we're at right now. And then the super regionals is the final 8 that goes to Omaha. So it's pretty awesome.
All right, let's go to the phones. Caller, what's your first name? Where are you calling from? Bill from Lynchburg. Good to speak to you again, Bill. Welcome.
It's been a while,
into
Bill.
the Shasteen Show. All right, Bill, what professional football team did Reggie White begin his professional football career with? Bill, you're on it. You're on it. Very good.
Well,
Bill gets it right. First caller gets it right. The Memphis Showboats of the United States Football League first signed Reggie White. Ken, Bill knows, but remind Bill how to get these fine prizes.
Hey, Bill, you've won before here on the Shasteen Show, but this time you won that trifecta of Tennessee gifts. You got the Power T Tennessee license plate, Smokey, Hugger, and the Tennessee Sport Towel. Go out to Suite 239 Northgate Mall, see Brian and Scott at Tullahoma Awards and Gifts to pick up your winning prizes.
Reggie White signed a 5-year, $4 million contract in 1984 with the Memphis Showboats. He began the 85 season with the Showboats, but defected to the NFL and took a pay cut with the Philadelphia Eagles, who signed him to a 4-year, $1.85 million deal, buying out his Memphis contract. In his first start with the Eagles, Reggie had 10 tackles, 2.5 sacks, finished with 13 sacks his rookie season, and was named NFC Rookie of the Year in 1985. Of course, went on to just an incredible career in the NFL, won an MVP award while with the Packers, won a Super Bowl, played with the Eagles from 85-93, from the Packers 93-98, and his final season with the Carolina Panthers. Reggie really changed free agency in football forever, Ken. He was the first free agent to basically tour all the teams and decide who he wanted to play for.
Yeah, and he was a terror, with the Philadelphia Eagles. But look at that first game. I did not know that about it when I looked that up today. 10 tackles, 2.5 sacks in your very first game. Talk about an impact player. And he was just so physical and overwhelming on the defensive line, much like probably Bruce Smith and Reggie White were the two guys that just dominated one-on-one. You could not block those two guys.
So congratulations, Bill. We appreciate you listening in Lynchburg. Be sure and pick up your gifts this week. And let's see, you can get back in this thing about mid-July or so. How do you possibly pick your favorite all-time college football player of your school by position? I mean, it's when you're old like us, man, it goes back a long way. But we've tried to do it, and we're going to reveal that. Plus, we'll touch on the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals. Driven by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma, live downtown at London's. This is the Shasteen Show on 93.9 The Duck.
Centrally located to the colleges, high schools, and middle schools it serves across southern Middle Tennessee. Sports Plus is also Tullahoma's only locally owned sports store with brands like Under Armour, Wilson, Rawlings, Majestic Athletics, and New Era baseball caps. Owner Joe Barstad has something for all fans and athletes alike. From pro and college apparel to your favorite hometown team, Sports Plus also works with the latest uniform trends and technology. Learn more at sportsplustullahoma.com.
93.9 The Duck, your local radio station playing the classic hits you know and love. The Duck covers all your local high school and college sports, from the Shasteen Show on Monday nights to Alabama football on Saturdays. Spreading the word to our listeners about your local business from southern Middle Tennessee to North Alabama is what The Duck does. If you're a new business looking to grow or an established business looking to expand, The Duck has a custom plan to fit your needs. So become part of the flock with 93.9 The Duck.
You're listening to The Shasteen Show, presented by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Now, back to the guys, live from Daddy Billy's in Tullahoma.
It has turned into a gorgeous, almost summer night here in southern Middle Tennessee. 6:20 in downtown Tullahoma, live from London's, along with Ken Keller. I'm Scott Shasteen. Welcome back to the Shasteen Show. Ken, great idea this week for a list. We're going to try to do lists each week throughout the summer. And you texted me a couple of days ago, actually Sunday afternoon, and said, do your homework.
Yeah.
Our list is going to be our favorite all-time player by position Yours at Alabama, mine at Tennessee. How'd you come up with that?
Well, I just thought it'd be, it's a silly season in football. Athlon Sports came out and said that Jeremy Pruitt is the second worst coach in the SEC this season, which I thought was ridiculous. So, look, Tennessee's got a great history and a great legacy. It would be interesting after we announce our teams if you could put them out on the field and let them play each other, who would win that game in this great rivalry. And, I know everybody looks forward to the Tennessee-Alabama annual game in October, the third Saturday in October. I'm fired up about it already. I know you are. I think it's going to be a good contest with Jeremy Pruitt going against his mentor, Nick Saban.
October 20th this year, Alabama-Tennessee. You can hear it live here on the Duck, and you can hear it live on the Rooster 101.5. So you can listen to Eli. Yeah. You can listen to Bob Kessling, listen to them both back and forth. That's going to be awesome.
It is.
It's going to be awesome. All right, you run this train. Let's jump into it.
All right. Do you want to start off with the specialist first?
Yes.
All right.
You've asked me that 4 times.
Okay. Let's start off with the punter first, okay? So I'm going to let you go first. Tennessee's had some great punters.
Great punters.
They have.
And the best punters have all had the same last name. So I'm not going to pick out one of them. I'm just going to say Colquitt. All right,
okay.
Colquitt has been my favorite Tennessee punter.
Yeah.
Tennessee punter has been named Colquitt 15 years since 1975. That includes Craig, Jimmy, Dustin, and Britton. Now, Dustin and Britton are still in the NFL. All of these guys didn't have long NFL careers. Dustin and Britton, though, are still killing that football. So my favorite punter all time, University of Tennessee, Colquitt.
That's a good choice. That's going to be tough to do.
It's the only choice.
It is the only choice, yeah. Now, I know you've got the right ones on your list. I'm going to go with Alabama's most recent punter. Now, they had a punter back a few years back named Chris Moore that was really good. But J.K. Scott of Alabama has won the Ray Guy Award. Just a tremendous, tremendous punter. He was actually selected in the 5th round of the NFL draft this year. Very rare for a punter to be drafted in the NFL. Most of those guys are free agents. But great hang time, could cough and corner the kick, but a power leg. J.K. Scott is my pick, is my favorite all-time Alabama punter.
Now, he seemed like he punted at Alabama for about 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy just punted and punted and punted forever. Great pick. He was a great punter and a winner.
Yeah, that's all right. Colquitt versus J.K. Scott. That's matchup number 1. Here's the second, kick returners. Okay, so we're going to go with kick returners. Scott, let's start with you again.
I'm going to have to go recent here. All right. He's the best kick returner I think Tennessee's ever had, and his name is Evan Berry. I mean, dude was phenomenal, led the nation in kickoff return. Now, Dale Carter was tremendous. Tennessee has had a Carl Pickens return kick, tremendous. Tennessee's had a bunch of those guys. But Evan Berry, he was tremendous, just great kick returner. Didn't have the career maybe that he could have had he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
Evan Berry, I think, basically missed a whole season. So, Evan Berry, kickoff returner.
Oh, that's a good choice. That's kind of maybe a clue that you may have 2 Berries on your list. I guess we're fixing to find that out here shortly. But I'm going to go with Alabama. There were a couple of them, made it difficult for me. I thought about Javier Arenas. Mike Shula recruited him. Saban had the benefit of having him for a year when he started his first season with Alabama in 2007. He was electric with the ball, but I've got to go with the deuce. David Palmer. Tennessee fans remember David Palmer in the early 90s. David Palmer, 2-point conversion, capped off a comeback against Heath Shuler and the Vols as a 17-17 tie.
Are we recounting the most heartbreaking games of all time?
No, to me, to be on my favorite list, they've got to make a special woo play in a big game for me, okay? But David Palmer was electric with the ball in his hands as a kick returner. So David Palmer for Alabama, Evan Berry, Scott says, for Tennessee. So that's your kick return specialist. Now, that's going to get us to the field goal kicker now, and Tennessee's had some great field goal kickers.
Tennessee's had some great field goal kickers, and my favorite, remember, these are our favorites, not the best ever. And my favorite, without a doubt, is Aaron Medley. Aaron Medley was born in Tullahoma, Tennessee. He played at Marshall County High School, know his family well. I've holidayed with him, partied with him, gone to ball games. Aaron Medley, there's nobody even close to second, my favorite all-time University of Tennessee place kicker.
Well, that's a good choice. Now the Vols.
That's a homeboy.
That's a homeboy. Now there was a boy not too far from home in Franklin County that was a good kicker for Tennessee as well.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
But he was from Franklin County.
There you go. That's right. All right. So I'm going to take. There was a couple of them. Now, believe it or not, since Nick Saban's been there, this has been his weakest position as field goal kicker. Nobody in consideration at even close to the last 11 years under Saban's regime. But Alabama did have some good kickers in the past. Peter Kim was a really good kicker. Philip Doyle was very consistent. But my pick for my all-time favorite is Van Tiffin for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he's known for the kick. Now, the reason this is my favorite kicker is because I remember a moment at my house. I was in the house with my mom and my brother that's a year younger than me in 1985 watching the Alabama-Auburn Iron Bowl. And Mike Shula trying to bring Alabama down the field. They're behind. Throws a pass to Al Bell with about 6 seconds left, a crossing pattern. I'm screaming, get out of bounds. Keith Jackson says he's getting out of bounds. And they line up for the kick, and Van Tiffin hits a 52-yard field goal, splits the uprights. Alabama wins that Iron Bowl. And it's known as the kick in Alabama lore. So Van Tiffin is my selection as Alabama, my all-time favorite kicker. And Scott's got Aaron Medley. So I think two noble choices right there.
So you're going to reference the kick when you name your favorite kicker, but you're not going to reference punt, Bama punt when you named your favorite punter.
No.
All right.
No.
That's fair.
No, because J.K. Scott didn't get those 3 points, them 3 punts blocked against Auburn. That was somebody else. I'm not even going to mention that one.
To the Shasteen Show here on 93.9 The Duck. We're live at London's, as we are every Monday night at 6 o'clock. All right, we're moving down our favorite players of all time from Alabama and Tennessee, the two winningest programs in SEC history.
Yes, we are. And now we're up to the defensive backs. We'll start with the little guys first and go up to the monsters. So your favorite all-time Tennessee Vol defensive back could be a cornerback, safety, whatever. Your choice.
Man, this was tough. It gets tougher as you get into the skill position players. Defensive back was tough. I tell you, Dale Carter was absolutely fantastic. Terry Fair was a tremendous defensive back. Eric Berry was a first-team All-American. Eric Berry is my favorite pro football player right now. He was a great defensive back, but I'm going to take you way back. We're going to wind up the Wayback Machine. I'm going to take you back to 1970, actually 69 to 71, but his best year was 70. He was the youngest of all of the Majors brothers. His name is Bobby Majors. He played safety for Tennessee, intercepted 10 passes in 1970. He holds the all-time Tennessee record. At one time, I don't know how many of these he still holds. He held the all-time punt return yardage record, punt return number record, all punt return records. He was a first-team All-American. He was my first college sports hero. I remember Christmas 1969. I got a football signed by Bobby Majors. Don't know where it is now, but I got it then. My favorite all-time defensive back at Tennessee, distant relative of mine, Bobby Majors.
Oh, you break that out on the show. I didn't know that.
Kin to the Majors family. I've got a book of the Shasteen descendants, and it goes back about 3 generations. A Shasteen woman, direct descendant of mine, married, I think his name was William Majors, the grandfather of Bobby and Bill and Joe and the rest. Johnny.
That's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
I think I need to bring a butter knife up here and borrow from the chef and cut your arm and see if you do bleed orange, because I think you do bleed orange. Man, that's pretty good. Good choice right there. Okay, I'm gonna throw a little curveball here with my favorite defensive back in Alabama history. Now, there's a lot of good ones. I love Landon Collins, the safety that's playing with the Giants right now, and really his recruiting story of his mother going bonkers when he picked Alabama over LSU on signing day. That was a big one. Great player. Minkah Fitzpatrick, most recently, I think he could be the best of all of them. There were others, Antonio Langham, George Teague. These guys all made great, spectacular plays in Alabama football history in big ball games. But I'm going to go with Jeremiah Castile. Jeremiah Castile was a great defensive back, wore number 19 for Alabama. He later on went on to be the team chaplain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and two of his sons, Tim and Simeon, played football for Alabama. So kind of one of those legacy players. You know, he talks really a lot about how Bear Bryant impacted him as a player, and was a great player. And his most famous NFL football play was in a playoff game. He went and was drafted by the Denver Broncos, and he put a helmet on the football at the goal line on Ernest Biner, the big running back for the Cleveland Browns. That ball popped out, and that totally changed that game around and allowed Denver to eventually go into the Super Bowl. So Jeremiah Castile, my favorite Alabama Crimson Tide defensive back.
He was a tremendous player. We've got linebackers, defensive linemen, tight ends, offensive linemen, wide receivers, running back, quarterbacks, and head coaches coming up. Don't go away. Driven by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma, live at London's. This is the Shasteen Show on 93.9 The Duck.
Do you need more? More golf, hunting, or camping? More basketball, soccer, and baseball? Do you need more football? Do you just need more sports? Light Tube's digital sports tier has more sports. Offering 12 additional sports channels for only $3 additional a month. What are you waiting on? Call 455-4515 and get more today.
Have you heard the news? The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new and improved website. That's russellbarnett.com. With over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, then look no further than russellbarnett.com. Online service appointments, customer testimonials, and vehicle history reports, this website has it all. We are the largest Middle Tennessee family-owned dealership with 5 locations to choose from. russellbarnett.com, and why buy anywhere else?
You're listening to The Shasteen Show, presented by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Now, back to the guys, live from Daddy Billy's in Tullahoma.
6:34 on this Monday night. Welcome back to London's in downtown Tullahoma. The Shasteen Show comes your way every Monday night, 6 o'clock here from London's at the corner of Lincoln Street and the Alley. The best burger in town. There's no doubt about it. Come on down. We're headed toward July. They're going to have some great new specials in July, so we're here for a while. All right, we're talking the best, our favorite player, Ken for Alabama, me for Tennessee, of all time. We stopped with linebacker.
Yes.
I don't know how you choose a favorite linebacker at Alabama. I mean, that's a hard choice.
It is.
It's a pretty hard choice for Tennessee, but probably not as hard as for Alabama, especially in the last 10 years or so. Mine's pretty easy. All right. Most, I think, would pick Al Wilson. Al Wilson was the captain of the national championship, undefeated 1998 Tennessee Volunteers. Many people forget that Al Wilson went on to be a 5-time Pro Bowler with the Denver Broncos. Al Wilson was a captain of the Denver Broncos. He was a great pro football linebacker. Injuries cut his career short right before Peyton went to Denver and won a Super Bowl. So, but Al Wilson has to come up second, as does everybody else, because as you know, last week I told you my favorite Volunteer of all time was Dale Jones from Cleveland, Tennessee. Played for the Vols in the mid-'80s, part of that Sugar Bowl winning team over number 2 Miami, January 1st, 1986. Dale Jones, my favorite linebacker all time at the University of Tennessee.
That's a great choice. I was in Neyland Stadium in 1998, that 20-17 overtime win by Tennessee over Florida. Al Wilson caused 3 fumbles in that ball game. That guy is a headhunter, ferocious, vicious, good pick. Okay, so and you did say, Scott, that it was, you don't know how I'm going to pick a linebacker for Alabama. This was very difficult. This was probably outside running back, one of my toughest positions right here. These are the guys that I considered. I consider certainly the Biscuit, number 97. And I remember the hit that he put on Steve Berline, I believe it was in 1986 of Notre Dame, when Alabama finally beat Notre Dame. But Cornelius Bennett had a great pro career with the Buffalo Bills, never won a Super Bowl, lost all of them. I think he went 0-4. But he was on my list, along with Leroy Jordan. Now, I couldn't put Leroy Jordan as my favorite because I didn't see him play on TV except when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Leroy Jordan made 31 tackles in the 1962 Orange Bowl against the Oklahoma Sooners. 31 tackles in one game against the Oklahoma Sooners in the Orange Bowl in 1962. So he was one of my favorite Dallas Cowboys. Leroy Jordan, undersized, played linebacker at Alabama. I also had C.J. Mosley, Rashaan Evans, some of these guys, Reuben Foster, most recently with Saban. But my favorite all-time Alabama linebacker has got to be number 55, Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas, all the way, great player, holds the NFL record for 7 sacks in a game against Dave Craig of the Seattle Seahawks. Tragically killed in a car wreck. The after effects of that, was in a coma, never recovered, died at 33 years old. His dad was a pilot. Great story that you can watch on the NFL Network, The Life of Derek Thomas. My favorite all-time linebacker at Alabama, number 55, Derek Thomas, which Antonio London wore that number when he went from Tullahoma. And I enjoyed watching Antonio London play football at Alabama, too, from the Tullahoma Wildcats.
Derek Thomas, great choice. Would have been my choice.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
I like yours as well. I like yours. So that takes us to the last spot on defense. One defensive lineman. Now, this is going to be hard. I threw my trivia question out there. Let's see if Scott took the bait. Let's see who he picks as Tennessee's all-time favorite defensive lineman.
Well, I did do this list before you threw your
yes,
trivia question out there. But, of course, it's the Minister of Defense, Reggie White, who held the Tennessee record for sacks until 2 years ago when Derek Barnett broke that record. But Reggie White, one of the greatest players in NFL history, certainly among the 5 greatest players in Tennessee history. It's not even close. We haven't had a tremendous number of great defensive linemen. It's Reggie White.
That's a great choice. Great player, the Minister of Defense. Reggie White, a fan favorite, no doubt about it. The guy dominated at every level he was at. This was tough for me. I thought about Barry Krause. The 1979 goal line stand, Penn State against Alabama. Thought about that, beating Joe Paterno 14-7 in that game. The great Marty Lyons played also on that team for Alabama, and he had a great career with the New York Jets. But also, in around 1992, Alabama had 2 bookends named Eric Copeland and John Curry. Those guys were really great defensive ends, and they were big in that win over Miami. But I'm going to pick number 99. Most recently, 2009, Mount Terrence Cody. Terrence Cody had not 1 field goal block, but 2 field goal blocks against the Tennessee Volunteers and Lane Kiffin in a 12-9 Alabama win. My son was on the couch crying when the field goal unit for Tennessee came out. I just started shaking my head and said, "This game's over, son." And Cody comes to the rescue, Scott.
I think I'm going to puke.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be sick.
Yeah,
I understand. Good choice.
I understand. That's our defense and our specialists right there. So, what do you think, fans? What do you think out here? Which defense and special teams is better, Alabama or Tennessee? Oh, we're hearing some rumblings from the crowds. Right? That's their Roll Tide. Hearing some go balls in here right now. About 50-50, man. So I think we both made a good case.
All right, let's go to offense.
All right, we're going to go to offense, and we're going to work from the big uglies up to the quarterback is what we'll end with. So we're going to start with offensive linemen. Phil Fulmer was a great recruiter of offensive linemen. Scott, you going to pick one of his boys? Who are you going to take here?
No, I'm not. Phil Fulmer was also an outstanding offensive lineman at the University of Tennessee, but I'm going to go old school on you. I'm going to go back to the mid-'60s, and I'm going to pick Bob Johnson as my all-time favorite offensive lineman. How good was Bob Johnson? You don't even know who I'm talking about, but I'm fixing to –
You're fixing to educate me.
I'm fixing to fill you in a little bit.
He's fixing to take me to school here.
Bob Johnson was a not one-time but a 2-time first-team All-American center at the University of Tennessee. In his senior year, he was 6th in the Heisman Trophy voting, and he was a center. He was the number 3 pick in the 1968 NFL Draft, the first all-time draft pick for the brand-new expansion Cincinnati Bengals. Bob Johnson, one of the greatest players in Tennessee football history, easily my all-time favorite offensive lineman. How about that?
Scott, you're impressive. I think you need to send a resume to Jeremy Pruitt and apply for the director of player personnel for the Tennessee Vols. You are on it, man. You know your stuff. That's good.
The internet is a great thing.
That's good, man. I like it. Okay, so I'm also going to go with a center. I could have easily and picked the greatest one of all time at Alabama, which was the greatest offensive lineman probably in NFL history, was John Hanna that played for the New England Patriots. But that's not my pick. I could have chosen anybody off the 2012 Alabama offensive line, which I think was the greatest offensive line Alabama had in history, and they've had some good ones. DJ Fluker, Barrett Jones, Cyrus Kwanjo, Chance Warmack. These guys were road graders, and Alabama won the national championship that year. But I'm going to take the guy that snapped the ball to Dan Marino on the Miami Dolphins. I just love the way that number 57, Dwight Stevenson, he would get his head down, his butt would be way up in the air, man. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. His head was that high off the ground, just burrowing like a little groundhog. That offensive line for the Dolphins was awesome. Dwight Stevenson, my all-time offensive lineman at Alabama, number 57, Alabama center. That's my pick.
That's the way Dan liked it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, one more position, then we'll take our last break.
All right, tight ends here. So Tennessee and Alabama both had some greats. Tennessee now has one on Monday Night Football that just retired from the Dallas Cowboys, Scott. You may have a layup on this one. Let's see who you pick.
No brainer. It is a layup. Jason Witten, no question about it. One of the greatest tight ends in NFL history.
Yeah.
Jason Witten, easily the best tight end in Tennessee history. But just loved watching that dude play, man. He just went to work every day. A tremendous person off the field. Jason Witten is everything college professional football is about, what athletics is about. Jason Witten, favorite tight end.
Yeah, he's going to do a great job on Monday Night Football Network and with that new crew they got. And I'm going to make it easy for Alabama. It's easy. This guy played wide receiver at Alabama, but I'm putting him in the tight end position. Ozzie Newsome, Hall of Famer, probably one of the top Hall of Fame tight ends in the NFL history. Ozzie Newsome, the Wizard of Oz, is my pick for Alabama's is my favorite tight end.
All right, we've got wide receiver, running back, quarterback, and head coach. We're going to have to talk a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Driven by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma, live downtown at London. This is the Shasteen Show on 93.9 The Duck.
Here at Stan McNabb Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Stan McNabb, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Stan McNabb Collision Center.
Think there's only one way to earn a college degree? It's time to explore your alternatives at Motlow State Community College. With our diverse degree options, a variety of course formats, and convenient locations, students can customize a college experience to fit any lifestyle, budget, or schedule. There are countless ways to get the education you need. Come explore them with us at Motlow State Community College.
You're listening to The Shasteen Show, presented by Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Now, back to the guys, live from
on this
Daddy
beautiful
Billy's
Monday
in
afternoon.
Tullahoma.
We are live at London's in downtown Tullahoma. We are naming our favorite all-time Tennessee Volunteer and Alabama Crimson Tide football players. It's just summer fodder for a sports talk show. Ken, we are at wide receiver.
We are at wide receiver, and, we're going to throw this out. That's a great debate. Both teams have claimed to be wide receiver U. Which is the real wide receiver U? I think in the past days it was Tennessee. It's kind of shifted to Alabama lately. But who's your all-time favorite wide receiver with the Tennessee Volunteers?
I agree with you. It was Tennessee. It's Alabama right now. I mean, the choices are too numerous to even fathom at Tennessee. I think back to Alvin Harper, who went on to play for the Cowboys from Frostproof, Florida, just a tremendous wide receiver. Larry Severs, a great wide receiver back in the late 70s. Tim McGee, loved Tim McGee. From 83 to 86, Tim McGee had a tremendous pro career with the Cincinnati Bengals. But my favorite all-time Tennessee wide receiver has got to be none other than number 37, played for the national championship undefeated Volunteers, Peerless Price, who went on to have a pretty good little pro career, but certainly nothing like college. On the cover of Sports Illustrated after winning the national championship, it just said, Tennessee Vols are peerless. Peerless Price, my favorite Tennessee wide receiver.
Yeah, that was a great call right there. Of course, T. Martin throws him that long bomb on the sidelines. I think that was Peerless that caught that in that 98 championship. 73 yards. Great choice right there. He was a smooth operator for the Tennessee Vols, as was Alvin Harper. I loved him with the Cowboys, not so much with the Vols, but he had some big catches on the other side of Michael Irvin for Troy Aikman, along with Jay Novacek and a guy named Emmitt Smith. So my favorite all-time wide receiver, bunch of them. I really thought hard about Tyrone Prothro. Tyrone Prothro, small in stature, one of the biggest hearts ever. Mike Shula, one of his boneheaded moves. Alabama is blown out to Florida Gators like 31-7, and he's throwing bombs to the end zone in the fourth quarter with Brody Kroll in at quarterback and Tyrone Prothro, starting wide receiver, still in. He has a compound fracture of his leg, catches the football for a touchdown, never played again for Alabama. Thought about him really hard because of his guts. Lots of guys. I mentioned David Palmer earlier, DJ Hall, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, most recently with Nick Saban. But my pick is Julio Jones, no doubt about it. That's my favorite. Guy played with a broken hand his last season, and he's tore the NFL up. Julio Jones, my pick for Alabama, favorite receiver.
Playing with a broken hand makes the guy a hero to you?
No, he's the epitome of toughness. And
so is LeBron your hero now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's really my hero.
He played with a broken hand, you know.
Yeah,
we didn't know that till the series was over. The sweep.
Well, he says it was broken. He
had a cast on it. And he wouldn't tell a fib. He's LeBron. All right, moving on.
We handled that debate last week between MJ and LeBron.
What a thrilling NBA championship series, by the way, wasn't it? Just thrilling. All right, let's go to running back.
Let's go to running back.
I could spend the rest of the time talking about Tennessee running backs. In the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, Tennessee had 2 or 3 great running backs on every team. I mean, you can look at NFL rosters for about 15 years, and there were Tennessee running backs scattered all over the place, from Jamal Lewis, Aaron Hayden, Charlie Garner. It just goes on and on. I got 2 I want to mention. The first one played from 84 to 87. He was actually a fullback until the 3 running backs ahead of him, and I can't name them all, got hurt, and he was forced to play tailback. All he did was average 170 yards a game, gained 1,700 yards in his career, scored 21 touchdowns. William Howard comes in second because my all-time favorite running back for Tennessee played a huge role in breaking, I think, an 11-game winning streak by the University of Alabama. I'm going to say it like John Ward would say it. Johnny Jones from Munford, Tennessee, is my all-time favorite running back at Tennessee. 82, 83, 84, Johnny Jones, the only Tennessee running back ever to have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He was great.
Yeah, he was great. Tennessee's had a litany of great running backs. You know, they've been called running back U as well. Same thing with Alabama. You know, who's the best? Who's my favorite? Alabama's had 2 Heisman Trophy winners under Nick Saban, okay? Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, now with the Tennessee Titans. Love those guys, not my favorite. I think the best running back that I've ever seen at Alabama, had he had the line that Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram had, he would have all the Alabama records. Shaun Alexander, a tremendous, tremendous running back, also with the Seattle Seahawks. Still not my favorite of all time, though. There have been other good ones. Trent Richardson as well. I like him. Najee Harris, I think he's got the same type of talent. Rising sophomore, I think he's going to do some big things at Alabama in the next couple of years. But my favorite of all time for Alabama is a man named Saran Stacy. He's been on the Shasteen show. He's called in. The man has a powerful testimony. I was in Legion Field in 1989 when Alabama played Tennessee. Tennessee came in with one of the top 5-6 teams in the country. Saran Stacy went wild, 317 all-purpose yards. I saw that. But what makes a man is not only what on the ball field, but dealing with adversity, kind of like Inky Johnson. He's the Inky Johnson of Alabama. In November of 2007, a drunk driver who the state troopers had told Saran that this guy probably tried to do a suicide bomb. They were in their van. His wife and 5 kids were in the car. 4 of those kids were killed a mile from his house by this drunk driver and this tragic accident. And this man has bounced back to give his testimony and still be a chaplain and a mentor all around the world and at the University of Alabama. Saran Stacy. He married a girl from Tullahoma. Great character guy. I love him. Saran Stacy, my favorite all-time running back at Alabama. just because of the man that he is and what he's accomplished, not only on the field at Alabama. He went back and got his degree in the spring. He just graduated from the University of Alabama, so way to go, Saran.
And I don't have too many favorite Alabama players other than Joe Namath, but Saran Stacy is right there. Like I say, we've had him on this show. We had him on our Saturday show. Just a tremendous guy. He's come to Tullahoma, motivational speeches to the athletic teams and that sort of thing.
Class A.
Just a great, great guy.
Yep.
We've got about 5-6 minutes left here on this edition of the Shasteen Show, and we are down to quarterbacks and head coaches. You know, many people would say that Peyton Manning is a no-brainer for their favorite quarterback, but not me. I'm always going to go different. This is not even close, okay? This man's great-grandfather was born a slave. His mother, in 1962, became the first African-American person to work for NASA in Huntsville, Alabama. He became the first African-American to start at quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. But before that, he was drafted in the first round by the Montreal Expos, the number 4 player overall picked in the Major League Baseball draft. He was only 17. His mama wouldn't let him go play baseball. She said he was going to college. Nobody would let him play quarterback in college except Bill Battle at the University of Tennessee. He was known as the Artful Dodger, given that name by John Ward. Condridge Holloway from Huntsville, Alabama. Easily my favorite all-time quarterback at the University of Tennessee. His whole family story is just tremendous. And again, if you have the opportunity to see the special, The Color Orange, on TV, it's produced by Kenny Chesney. Be sure and check that out. Condridge Holloway at quarterback.
That's a great choice. And, you know, I had one of the first African-American quarterbacks that played at Alabama, Walter Lewis, on my list. Walter Lewis, Tyler Watts, Brody Kroll were a couple of my favorites. But look at the quarterbacks at Alabama. 3 of them have won Super Bowls. Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, Bart Starr, are they my favorite? No, none of those. I did not see him play enough in college. My favorite all-time college quarterback who also faced adversity was A.J. McCarron. A.J. was a winner, won 3 national championships at Alabama redshirt year in 2009 and beat Texas and Notre Dame and LSU 2011 and 12. When he was 3 years old, he had a sea-doo accident with his family. It split his head wide open. He's still got a big scarf. You'll see it when he's playing sweat and takes his helmet off. You can see the scarf from one side of his head to the other. He was not expected to live. He pulled out of that and went on to accomplish his dream. You can see his baby pictures in Alabama garb. He lived and did great things at the University of Alabama. A.J. McCarron, hope he can win a Super Bowl at Buffalo. We'll see.
Great choice. Can't stand him. All right, now we're to the head coach. And this is going to take me a minute, so stay with me, okay? His teams once had 17 consecutive shutouts. They went an entire season and didn't allow a point until the bowl game. He had winning streaks of 33, 28, 23, 19, and 14 games. His teams won 4 national championships, 7 conference championships. They weren't in the SEC the whole time he was coach. Had 6 undefeated seasons, went 173, 31, and 12. He was the head coach at the University of Tennessee 3 times, from 1926 to 34, from 36 to 40, and from 46 to 52. He was a brigadier general in the United States Army. He served in both World War I and World War II. He was from Greenville, Texas. He not only has a stadium named after him, but he designed the stadium. And his designs are still being followed. His design expanded to over 100,000 seats way before his time. Every Saturday before the University of Tennessee plays, they recite this: the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. Play for and make the breaks, and when one comes your way, score. If at first the game or the breaks go against you, don't let up. Put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. Ball, Oski, cover, block, cut, and slice. Pursue and gain tackle, for this is the winning edge. Press the kicking game. Here's where the breaks are made. Carry the fight to our opponent and keep it there for not 58 or 59, but 60 minutes. Greatest coach in the history of Tennessee football. He's everything to the University of Tennessee. General Robert Reese Neyland, not Nayland. Neyland is how it's pronounced.
Look at that. Getting some claps from Alabama fans out there. They're paying respect to Neyland.
He was a great man. He's an American hero. You've got 1 minute.
All right, I've got 1 minute, so I'm going to make this real quick. You know, in 1982, my dad took me to Legion Field. I watched Bear Bryant coach. Remember him leaning up against the end zone with a houndstooth hat and his blazer on, watching his team. Alabama lost that day to the LSU Tigers at home, 20-10. In 2007, I was at the first home SEC game of Nick Saban with my 9-year-old son, watching Alabama beat Arkansas, an incredible win in the last minute of the game. Both coaches have won 6 national titles. Bear Bryant's the greatest coach in Alabama history, but my favorite coach is Nick Saban. So that's going to be my answer on that one. Respect both the guys. Bear's the greatest. Nick's my favorite. That's where I'm at with it. And there's your 2 teams there, Alabama, Tennessee. Let's put them out on the field, time warp this thing and get it on. Robert Neyland against Nick Saban. I want to see who wins that matchup.
Oh, it's been fun. It's been fun. We're at London's. Come see us next week. Ken Keller. I'm Scott Shasteen. Be good to each other.
Listen up, Weekend Warriors. Builder Supply has everything you need to knock out that home improvement project. From lumber and roofing to windows, doors, trims, or stair parts, Builder Supply has it all. Repainting a couple bedrooms? Builder Supply is your authorized Ben Moore and Porter Paints retailer. In business since 1922, Builder Supply offers quality personal service and over 100 years of experience. So before you tackle your next weekend project, stop by Builder Supply, 301 Southeast Atlantic Street in Tullahoma.
I'm working with a home buyer from Louisiana, and he asked me what type of internet access we have in Tullahoma. So I told him all about LightTube, and he said, "You're kidding me. There's fiber optics available in Tullahoma?" And I said, "Not only that, but it's great service, most reliable. You get to work with people in Tullahoma, and it's awesome." And he said, "People need to know in Tullahoma how lucky they are."